you had an incredible record against both Sachin Tendulkar and Virat Kohli. You took Sachin's wicket more times than anybody else, 9 times, I believe.
Yeah.
And you took Virat Kohli's wicket 7 times. Now, in your book, you talk about almost finding another space, another mental space, going up a gear. When you're coming up against those 2 batters in particular, how is that possible? How does that work?
Well, I think when you play against anyone, when their best batter comes to the crease, you know it's important for the team to get them out. And I don't know what it was for me, but I just felt, particularly with those 2 guys, that to get on top of them early was really important. And you know if you bowl a bad ball, it's going to get punished. So you just, whether it's concentration, whether it's, you can bowl bad balls at other players and they don't hurt you as much as the good players do. So you know that your margin for error is small. So it's that focus, that concentration, which you think should be there for everyone you bowl at, but I guess for them it just went up a notch.
Which one did you find the most difficult to bowl against?
I think I had some success early against Kohli. The first time he came to England, I think it was 2014. I really exploited. He had a weakness outside off stump. Really exploited that. And then the next time I played against him, he'd obviously gone away and worked on that. And it was like bowling at a different player. He'd really taken his game to a different level, made it very difficult for not just me, but for the bowlers in general. And I think I got him out maybe 4 or 5 times the first series, and then didn't get him out in the next series I played against him. So it was, against Sachin, for example, I didn't feel like there was that sort of shift in dominance. I think with Kohli there was definitely a shift, and I found him a really difficult player to bowl at, because he also had that sort of steely mindset. He wanted to get into a battle. He wanted to, he's very competitive. After that initial success, it was pretty difficult to go up against.
When you were bowling to Kohli, were you bowling to his personality as much as his technique and the game situation in a way that maybe you weren't when you were bowling against Sachin?
Yeah, potentially. I think with someone like Kohli, he obviously it was a slightly different character to Sachin. Sachin was very mild-mannered, very calm at the crease, and Virat was more expressive with his emotions and wore his emotions on his sleeve, and you could kind of see it. You saw that with his captaincy when he celebrated wickets and stuff like that. It really came out in him. So I tried as much as I could to take that out of it and just imagine him as a right-handed batter and not think too much about who it was. But it was difficult at times, and we had many battles on the field, and I'd definitely have more verbal battles with Virat than I did with Sachin. I didn't really say a lot to Sachin, or tried not to. And I don't know, I just think when Sachin was obviously at a different stage of his career when I played against him. And he had this sort of godlike presence, and how he was held in India. When you played against him in India, it was incredible to see how the fans treated him and looked up to him. And obviously, as Virat's career went on, that became more and more like that for him. But at the start of his career, it wasn't quite as intimidating.
I suppose with you and Virat as well, your careers kind of were more in tandem than with Sachin, because of course he'd been playing for over a decade actually.
Yeah.
When by the time you'd started, looking back at how you bowled to Sachin, even with all that success, as you got older and wiser and better, do you look back and think that you would have maybe done things slightly differently? I mean, you had incredible success against him, but
no, I don't think I would. I think as you said, I had good success against him. I don't think I would have done a huge amount differently. Similar to Virat, really. I think I tried everything. I threw everything at him at times, and sometimes he was good enough to cope with it, and sometimes I got the better of him. And that's just the nature of cricket. When you play against someone so often, there's going to be times when they come out on top, and sometimes when you come out on top.
You talk about trying to take Kohli's emotion out of the situation, and in doing that, what you're also doing is you're trying to just focus on what is important, trying to just get the batter out. That's it. And if you do that, everything's cool, right? So what's it like when because you write a great piece in the book about coming into bowl against Sachin Tendulkar and essentially getting him out. You describe it as though there's TVs being turned on all around the country, 1.5 billion people turning on the TV to see Sachin Tendulkar, to see you bowling to Sachin Tendulkar. And then you come in and you get him out, and then you almost in your mind, you could feel all those TVs being turned off again. I mean, that's...
Yeah, I think unless you've been in India and experienced how he is treated and how people look up to him, it is like a god, almost. Like he's idolised by millions and millions of people, and I've seen it happen in cricket grounds. People will turn up when Sachin's about to bat, and then if he gets out, the ground empties, and it's just an incredible thing to experience. And obviously you want people watching the game, but also I don't know, I felt quite sad when people left the ground when he got out. Because it's an incredible thing to experience.
Talking about watching the game, there's a piece in the book where you talk about your good friend, Sir Alistair Cook, and his final century. You slept through it, or you slept through a portion of it, so it's his final innings, and you're so relaxed because you know where this is going. You've seen him bat so many times, and you thought you have a little snooze. And to be honest with you, that happens in the commentary box as well. The amount of times I turn back and I can hear snoring. Shane Warne used to sleep in the back of our commentary box.
Yeah.
So what were the players then that you're in the dressing room that you just felt, no disrespect to Cookie, but you felt you needed to watch?
Well, the fact that I was asleep it's not a slight on Cookie's batting.
You're in your safe space, right?
That's just how I would try and wind down. If we'd bowled, you need to sort of get your energy levels back. So it is quite common for bowlers to have a sleep, especially if you go and see the physio, you get a massage, try and relax, and the guys will fall asleep. Unfortunately, in this instance, it was his last innings for England, and one of the management filmed me snoring. So the first thing he saw when he got out, came off the field, he just got 100 in his last innings. Someone shows him a video of me snoring as he's raising his bat for 100.
Well, that's better than your first encounter on the field, which we don't need to go into. Who did you prefer to bowl against? Was it the Alistair Cook type or Rahul Dravid type batter, or was it the Virender Sehwag or Chansey? But obviously you're going to go for more runs. It's that.
Yeah.
Which one would you?
I think, to be honest, I think at the start of an innings, I'd love to bowl at someone who takes their time, because they're trying to settle into their innings. It allows you to settle into the game. You've got a chance of getting them out. They're not going to hurt you that much. They're not going to try and score. I always found it really hard against someone like Virender Sehwag, someone who wants to attack straight away. It's harder to settle into the game. And sometimes you can get them out. Obviously, you might create a chance, but generally I like settling into the game against a quieter batter.